Jennifer's body broke every rule horror movies were supposed to follow in 2009, and that's exactly why it was buried. Ignored by critics and mismarketed as a teen sex comedy, the film was dismissed before anyone realized what it really was. Now, over a decade later, it's being seen in a whole new light. Here are 7 wild facts that prove Jennifer's body was never the problem. Hollywood was. 1. The pool scene, the queer subtext, wasn't subtext. By the time Needy walks into that abandoned pool and sees Jennifer floating there, everything that's been building between them finally comes out. But it's not just a horror climax, it's personal. It's layered in a messy way that has nothing to do with demons. Jennifer's half dead, covered in blood, and still somehow calm and relaxed. At the same time, Needy's shaking, furious, and heartbroken. And then Jennifer says, "You give me such a wetty." It's cringy, sure, but under the surface, it's a loaded line. A weird, raw, uncomfortable mix of flirting, accusation, and years of buried emotion. And yeah, back in 2009, most people laughed at that scene or brushed it off like it was just there for shock value. But looking at it now, it's obvious this wasn't queerbaiting. Because this whole movie is built around Jennifer and Needy's relationship, and it's not just platonic, no matter how many times they try to say it is. That scene is where all the jealousy, all the obsession, all the "why can't you just stay mine" energy hits its limit. Jennifer is still trying to control the situation the only way she knows how, with seduction, manipulation, charm. But Needy's done playing along, and in that moment, the horror becomes emotional. Because Needy isn't just fighting a monster, she's trying to break free from the girl who's been pulling her strings for years. And what makes it hit harder now is that we finally started to talk about how intense teenage friendships, especially between girls, can blur into something else. And sometimes, it turns destructive. So when Needy finally stabs her, it's not some triumphant victory, it's a breaking point. It's the end of something that never got a chance to be honest. And if you thought that scene was intense, just wait until you find out what Needy does after all of this. 2. Needy's final transformation, from sidekick to something else. Needy starts off exactly how horror movies usually set up their survivors. Quiet, overlooked, kind of just there. She's not the popular one, not the funny one, just the girl in the background, orbiting around someone bigger and louder, in this case, Jennifer. But by the end of the movie, she's not in anyone's shadow anymore. After watching her town get torn apart, after losing her boyfriend, after realizing her best friend has literally become a predator, Needy doesn't just walk away traumatized, she changes. And not in a metaphorical way. She actually absorbs Jennifer's powers after that final fight. She starts levitating, her wounds heal instantly, she gets stronger, but more importantly, she gets cold. This is the moment the film flips the whole final girl trope upside down. Usually, the good girl lives because she followed the rules. She didn't drink, she didn't sleep around, she screamed and cried and ran fast enough. But Needy doesn't survive because she's virtuous. She survives because she adapts, because she stops trying to be the sidekick and starts becoming the thing everyone underestimated. And when she escapes, she doesn't go start a new life. She goes after the band, low shoulder, and kills them. Because by now, Needy has nothing left to prove. She's not the victim anymore. She's something else entirely, the byproduct of everything that was taken from her. Jennifer became a monster because the world destroyed her. Needy became one because she lived through it. 3. The band sacrifice scene. The first time you watch the scene where Low Shoulder sacrifices Jennifer, it kinda catches you off guard. Like, are they seriously stabbing her while singing a pop song? It's weirdly upbeat. One guy's cracking jokes, another's barely taking it seriously. And yeah, it looks absurd on the surface, a bunch of guys in eyeliner doing satanic stuff in the woods like it's an after party at Warped Tour. But then it settles in, and it stops being funny. Because this scene isn't about ritual horror, it's about exploitation, and it's not subtle. They didn't pick Jennifer because she mattered. They picked her because she was available, because she was a girl standing alone at the wrong time. And the way they talk about her, asking if she's a virgin like it's a minor detail, laughing through the whole thing, it tells you everything. And that's the scariest part. It feels routine to them, casual, like sacrificing a teenage girl for fame is just part of the process, because for them, it kind of is. That's the point the movie's making. This isn't just about horror movie villains. It's about the entertainment industry, about the way real people, women, especially young women, have been used and discarded to help someone else succeed. All under the label of, you should be grateful we gave you a shot. And it hits harder now than it ever could in 2009. Because we know more now. Low Shoulder wasn't a parody, they were a warning. And the irony is that the ritual doesn't even work. Jennifer wasn't a virgin, but they still get famous. They still blow up. Because the system doesn't actually care whether it works or not. It only cares that someone got hurt for the sake of the show. Jennifer was supposed to be disposable. Instead, she came back. And she didn't want revenge. She wanted to feed on the same kind of people who fed off her. 4. The Jell-O line was devastating. You're totally Jell-O. On the surface, it sounds like something out of a 2004 Disney Channel fight. One step away from, you're just mad because you can't sit with us. But in Jennifer's body, that line lands way harder than it has any right to. Because Needy isn't just calling Jennifer jealous. She's accusing her of something deeper, something even she probably doesn't fully understand yet. It's not about being prettier or being more popular, and the fact that Jennifer has always had this gravitational pull over Needy makes this more intense. Needy isn't just mad, she's confused and scared. She's watching Jennifer flirt with her boyfriend, flaunt her control, and act like it's no big deal. Like Needy isn't supposed to care, but of course she cares. Because Jennifer isn't just the friend who outshines her, she's the person Needy has always looked at a little too long. And maybe loved in a way she wasn't supposed to, and maybe hated for that exact reason. And Jennifer, she gets it. She knows what "you're totally Jell-O" actually means. But instead of meeting Needy in that moment, instead of being vulnerable or real, she does what she always does. She leans into it, twists it, makes it hurt more. That's what this movie gets so right about teenage girl dynamics, especially the ones laced with closeness and confusion. Nothing is ever said directly. Everything is coded. You don't say, "I want you," or "you make me feel small." You say, "Jell-O," and hope she gets it. The makeup scene, this was never for you. Jennifer walks into the bathroom after her first kill, soaked in blood, eyes blank, breathing like she just came back from the dead, because, well, she kinda did. And what does she do? She wipes herself off, strips down, and starts doing her makeup. And yeah, at first glance, this feels like textbook male gaze horror, but that's not what's happening here. Not even close. This scene is clearly about taking back control, because Jennifer just went through the most horrific experience of her life. She was sacrificed by a group of guys who didn't even care who she was. She was nothing to them, just a body to bleed for their fame. And now she's standing here, fully aware of what she's become, a demon, a predator, and finally untouchable. So no, the makeup isn't for anyone else. It's not for a date, not for a man, not even for us. It's a ritual, her way of putting herself back together. What makes the scene so effective and so uncomfortable is that it looks like something we've seen 100 times before. The beautiful girl alone in front of the mirror, reapplying mascara like nothing happened. But this time, it's not for our enjoyment. It's a mirror being held up to the viewer. It's the film saying, this is what you're used to looking at. Does it feel the same now? You might be thinking, okay, maybe the story was ahead of its time. But what about Megan Fox? Well, what if I told you the world never even gave her a chance to show what she could really do until it was too late? 6. Megan Fox was mocked for her performance in this movie. Yep, you heard it right. Back in 2009, nobody took Megan Fox seriously. She was the hot girl from Transformers. Hollywood typecast her as eye candy, and the media ran with it, constantly reducing her to whatever made for the most clickable punchline. So when Jennifer's Body came out, people didn't even bother giving her a fair shot. Critics said she was just playing herself, that she wasn't believable, that she was just there to be sexy. Roger Ebert called her a babe, but barely mentioned her performance, and Fox knew exactly what was happening. Because here's the thing, she wasn't playing herself. She was playing a girl who knew she was being objectified, and she used that, every bit of it, as part of the role. Jennifer isn't just seductive for the sake of the audience, she's seductive because that's the only power she's ever been allowed to have. Megan Fox plays her like someone who understands the rules of being looked at and chooses to flip those rules when it suits her. Her smile isn't flirty, it's threatening. And yeah, people said she was cold, but that was the point. Jennifer is a girl who's been destroyed, literally and figuratively, and the only way she knows how to survive is to perform. Megan Fox understood that role better than anyone gave her credit for. She even said in interviews at the time that she related to Jennifer, not the demon part, obviously, but the part about being sexualized, underestimated, and then villainized for pushing back. And now, years later, people are finally going, wait, she was actually incredible in this, because she was. So, Jennifer wasn't just scary because she was a demon. She was scary because she had nothing left to lose, and she knew how to turn that into power. And Megan Fox nailed every single beat of that. 7. Hell is a teenage girl. The movie opens with a voiceover. Hell is a teenage girl. And yeah, the first time you hear it, it sounds like a tagline. But that line is the lens you're supposed to watch everything through, because being a teenage girl can genuinely feel like hell. You're told what to wear, how to act, how to look, by parents, by boys, by media, by complete strangers. You're sexualized way before you understand what that even means. You're expected to be desirable, but also pure, confident, but not threatening. You're constantly walking this impossible line, and no matter how well you balance, someone still wants to tear you down for it. And then there are your friendships, which, let's be honest, sometimes feel more like emotional landmines, because you're figuring out who you are while being tangled up in people who might love you, envy you, compete with you, or want to consume you entirely. Jennifer and Needy weren't just friends. They were each other's mirrors, each other's rivals. So when Needy says that line, she's not just talking about Jennifer, she's talking about all of it. Jennifer's body, literally and metaphorically, becomes a site of violence, hunger, projection, control, and Needy is the one left to make sense of the wreckage. So no, Hell is a Teenage Girl isn't an exaggeration. It's a warning, not about girls being dangerous, but about what happens when the world keeps making them dangerous just to stay alive. When Jennifer's Body came out in 2009, people didn't know what to do with it. It was marketed like a slasher made for teenage boys. But underneath that, it was saying things that movies still struggle to say now. It failed at the box office because it was too raw. But now it's a cult classic for a reason, because we're finally hearing what it was trying to say all along. So if you like this breakdown, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe. We've got more movies like this, the ones that flopped, got dragged, or just straight up scared people because they were too honest. Let's give them the second look they always deserved. And hey, maybe the next time someone tells you a movie is just for fun, you'll ask what they really mean by that. Thanks for watching.